We're live.
Yes, we are live.
Here we are live in a Facebook group. I'm Sarah Elena. If you don't know me, I help people move to Costa Rica through relocation. And we've been doing a live each week with Pablo, who also has an international relocation partner who helps with customs and shipping and all kinds of other things. So Pablo has been helping me in getting out there. Okay, let's show up once a week, answer questions, talk about important topics. So we hope that you'll find this information helpful. And we do have a special guest today, which we're also very excited to introduce.
Yeah, I'm super excited for today. We are doing this every week. Is there a Q&A? So if you have questions, you can just raise your hand and make comments, and we'll be happy to share our feedback and personal opinions on a lot of these different questions you have. But also, we're gonna be talking about a topic. And this week, and I feel I've been thinking about doing something about this topic for at least 1 year. And this topic is, the expat groups are such a useful tool, but at the same time, you don't know who is in this 20,000 member expat group. It could be a lot. So I mean, there is a lot of good people, but every now and then I see something that is sketchy, kind of fishy comments, people asking for, personal things, hey, like just this one. Hey, can you send us a picture, or upload a picture of your daughter or your kids? Things like that. I mean, I know, nothing could happen, but we have to think about these things because we don't really know who we are sharing information. This is massive groups that are super useful, but things could go sideways if you're sharing your private information. So for this topic, I invited Clayton Lopez, and Clayton Lopez, he actually had several expat groups. He opened one expat group in Monterrey, Mexico, a few years ago. Later, he and his wife decided to move to Costa Rica. Now he owns another expat group I believe, in Atenas. So Clayton, if you're there, or Natalia is there, hey Clayton,
Hi,
how are
thank
you?
you.
Say hi.
Hey, thank you so much, Pablo. Yes, I was living in Mexico, and then my wife and I relocated here to Costa Rica to raise our family. And we wanted to create a community that was positive and helpful because moving to Costa Rica can be a bit of a scary experience if it's your first time and you don't know the language. So we located here in Atenas, and we are the admins of Families in Atenas, Costa Rica, where people can share wholesome, what schools can we eat at, restaurants, the best parks, and so on.
All right, super. And Sarah, you also have a group, right? And your group is large. So we have in this call, say that. I think your microphone is not
Sorry.
on.
Yep, sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, the group, the Moving to Costa Rica group, I think there's more of them. But when I started it, I was the first moving to Costa Rica group, and it got very large. We have over 40,000 people in there right now.
Wow.
So you have two groups, and I know you have seen a lot of things. And I know because I actually contact admin groups in Mexico, in Colombia, in Panama, and in Costa Rica, trying to get them to talk in one of these, lives before. Like this is an old idea that I had a year ago or so. It's like, if I can get people to talk about it, and a lot of them say, no, I don't want to talk about this in public. And some of them even say, I had people threat my life when I removed them from the group. And I had things like that. One lady, and this is for another large expat group in Costa Rica, I'm not even going to mention her name, said, Paulo, I love to help you, but I feel that I could put my life in danger. So it's that bad. I mean, I know we are using the groups, people are asking questions, and a lot of people, could really take a lot of benefit to it. But I personally know people that have said to me that they are admins of groups that, you need to be careful. So I'd like to have your guys' feedback on this.
I'll let you go first, Clayton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. So, privacy as technology continues to advance becomes a real issue. And
Yeah.
when you put your personal information out there, maybe too much personal information of children or where you live exactly, you're putting yourself up to get potential scammers. Now they know the names of your children, where you live, where you hang out. Now they have more information to psychologically trick you
Of
into
course.
getting you to deposit money to meet them for some investment, to buy some camera, and so on. So I do notice many expats in these groups are remaining as anonymous. That's an option you can choose. They post anonymously and
Mhm.
they only have their first name, last name, just initial, just to keep that privacy because scams do happen a lot online in my groups and other groups that I've seen. Mhm.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
what do you think, Sarah?
well, I mean, when Pablo mentioned to me the other day about like, someone having their life threatened, like I was just like, what? Like for
Yeah.
me, that just sounds so insane. Like so when I started my group, obviously there were, it started from zero. I remember when there was like kind of like 300 people in there. It was really quaint, and then it kept growing and growing and growing. And as it does grow, it's hard to control, who's commenting, what they're saying. Like I just woke up one morning this week, came across a post, and I was like, oh, this is gonna like now I got to go through and you try to do the best you can as an admin, but it helps when people can report things. But I mean, some of the comments in there, I'm just like, what are you people doing? So it is difficult when you have people behind their keyboards. They're not being nice. I don't mind blocking people. I don't think I've ever gotten any threats to my life. If so, they're probably in my message requests or my spam. And I'm really terrible at checking Facebook Messenger anyways. So it hasn't come to my attention, but it's just really unfortunate that that's even a thing. Like for me, I don't get it. So.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. One time, actually, a scammer was trying to sell a camera in my group, and I contacted them because I wanted to explore, like, is this real or is this fake? And
Mhm.
they said, well, where are you located at the time? I said, oh, the Santa Ana area. And they said, okay, deposit this amount of money, and I'll meet you and give you the rest. And I told him no, and immediately he got angry and says, I know where you live. I will find you. And so, it wasn't
Ooh.
necessarily a life threatening thing, but they do say along those lines often enough
Ooh.
to scare you to be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's meet. And so you don't have to meet me. But yeah, it can happen. And I think depending on how the economy goes, when it's up or down, when it started going down, people get a little more desperate to really hunt for expats who are vulnerable, and they really try to take advantage of that. So that's why, as our jobs as admins, we do our best to keep the group safe and make sure the people joining are real people instead of scammers.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. I try to be careful. If you guys notice myself interacting in the expert groups, I'm very public and I am always commenting, trying to provide values, good information about value. And through that, I see things that to me are kind of like, this is a really weird question. Just like I think yesterday or the day before, somebody asked something like, hey, I'm running out of inspiration online. I'm trying to do the new gate for my
I saw that.
house.
Mm.
And can you guys publish and take a picture of your house, of the gate of your house? And it's thousands of people. Maybe it's harmless, but I'm not gonna put the door of my house in front of a lot of these people. Some of them may live in the same neighborhood or in the same city, and that may be looking for this additional extra piece of information they need to then do harm to you. So I immediately just reply with a very sarcastic, "I'm sorry, Sarah, it was your group,"
No, that's
with
okay.
a
Yeah.
very
I saw
sarcastic
that post.
comment.
I saw that post too. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
and I immediately reply with something really sarcastic. Yeah, sure. Like privacy is not an issue here.
Yeah.
I don't know if, and I,
It's just such a
but
small country. It's so easy. Honestly, it'd be so easy to find someone like easily. Even if these towns are small, so you have to be. You think, oh, I'm just one. It's fine, but really, like someone could just be driving up and down the streets. You don't know because there's not that many streets in this country compared to probably where people are coming from.
Right.
let's address this question. It's right on the screen. Do you have any type of processes, protocols, or something that you guys do, especially you guys that are admins, Clayton or Sarah? You
Hmm.
guys do something to keep this safe or make it, easier to control these issues?
Yes. Definitely. So for the group families in Atenas, Costa Rica, what I have is a set of questions. So when they try to enter the group, they need to
Mhm.
answer these questions. For example, why are you coming here? For travel, vacation, moving? And the second question would be like, what towns are you wanting to explore? And then the third, what I do is I put a math question. I'll put like, what's 11 plus 12? And it's so simple, but at the same time, it tells me, are they going to take 5 seconds to do this simple math question? And if they answer it correctly, then 99% of the time it's a real person. But
Mhm.
I've noticed if it's a bot or if it's a scam or someone who just doesn't even know what they're reading, they won't answer any of the questions. They'll answer none of them, they'll put a random number. And that's a really easy way for me to tell, okay, this person is not taking the group seriously. And then another precaution is they need to ask for approval. So they don't just join the group and they're in it. They have to join it and then I have to approve it. And then the same goes for the post. If they want to ask a question or post something, it goes to pending and then I can either choose to approve it or deny it. And for me, this has made sure that my group is mostly free of scams. Sometimes they can slip through if they're really sneaky, but it's a very good way to keep real people in and the scammers out.
I
Wow.
do,
Yeah, that's
I do the
good.
same things. I do the same things except for the last one. So like people are just able to make posts that they want, but yeah, when I approve someone, like I go through first. I'll look for anyone who answered all the questions, and for mine, they can put in their email at the end. So I look for anyone that I would need to collect their email. Then I start going to people who've made an account for that are less than 3 months old. I'll look through each of those people individually because some
Mm,
people actually do. Like I've had clients who said, "Well, I just started a Facebook account, so I could get on some of these groups in order to get information." So I don't think all of those are fake, but I'll look at ones that were made less than 3 months ago, made less than 6 months ago, because that's another option. And then
mm.
I might look through people who didn't answer any of the questions, again, who didn't put in any of the effort to even give me a simple yes, I'm thinking about moving to Costa Rica, because I have a few questions as well. So
That's very smart. Yeah, the new account one, that's a really good tactic. Another thing I do is a lot of people want to advertise their businesses. So I have a rule where you can do it on Thursdays. And that allows real businesses to advertise because if you don't set a limit for that, you'll have people advertising every day of the week. And then you'll kind of question, is this a scam or is this real? So I also have advertising on 1 day a week. And then when people abide by those rules, then you kind of know, like, okay, these are real people sharing real businesses. But if you can do any day of the week, they share Bitcoin, other random
Mm.
online investments that are scams. But I really like Sarah's looking at the account, the age. That's a very good one. Sometimes it says created 2 days ago. And,
mm,
that could be a little fishy. Like, okay, like, what are the chances? It could be real, but it is worth investigating, like Sarah said.
I
You know,
also,
it,
sorry,
go, go, go.
sorry. Well, like, raise your hand. I also look for because it'll show me what groups maybe they have in common with mine. Or so then
Hmm.
sometimes that's another thing. I mean, I will try to do like I don't have a lot of time in the world for this, but I will try to deep dive into these things and look at the groups that they have in common. If they're just look like they're joining a bunch of random groups from all over or like it just doesn't make
Mhm.
sense, then I can say,
Right.
this account doesn't look right. But if I see they're joining a bunch of expat groups, and then, okay, well, it looks like they're actually from Texas. There are a bunch of yard sale pages from Texas. Then that might help me gauge too. But usually I'll look at what groups that they are in already too to try to determine if this person's trying to scam or not.
That's an excellent point. Many of the members coming to mind are also like in moving to Costa Rica or traveling tips. But if it's like in Arabic, Japanese, Chinese, and all these random groups, you're like, okay, this would be pretty far stretch for you to be joining this random group in Atenas. But yes, yes, looking
Mhm.
at the other groups is a great one.
No, what I was gonna say is, I mean, then this is for the audience. I mean, these guys, Clayton, Sarah, a lot of these are additional free tools, that you guys could use. So it's not like they're getting paid to manage all these groups with 20,000 people or 40,000. Like they're just doing it for free for the community. And it's oftentimes there's a lot of people trying to get into these groups and participate and commenting. So please give us a break. We are trying to do our best. I mean, if we could, like, I would probably just have somebody fill out the form. Hey, I need your number, and I'm gonna call that person if I have the resources and time. But it's just having somebody full time, just getting on the phone with people. It's not possible.
Right.
So we do whatever is in our hands to protect everybody within the group, for the group to be useful and healthy. But what we want is we just really want to make this calling to all of you guys. Just be careful, have common sense, do not provide your personal information, do never publish your phone number, never publish your personal things. If you are going to talk to somebody because you have to talk to this person, a private message through the Facebook platform may be the best way. And even after that, do not provide your private information in a private message. Just make sure you know who you're doing business with. That means that you're talking to a legit business provider that has got offices, employees that pay taxes, all of those things. People might think, oh, it's fine. It looks like a nice guy, random guy at Gmail, Yahoo.com, whatever.
Right.
But additional ways that you can protect yourself is to deal with business people that are accountable in their own country and territory. If you're moving to Costa Rica, you want to deal with a company that is paying taxes and is accountable in his own country, that is got an established reputation, and not just with a random guy who's selling a camera in a fishy way.
Exactly. And like you said, there's been times where I have bought things on Facebook Marketplace or met people such as you, Pablo, when we met to get to know each other. And what I always do is you meet in a public place where there's people and cameras. So if I'm going to buy something, go to PriceSmart. There's security guards, there's cameras, there's tons of people. There's no way anything could happen. Like you said, just common sense. Don't meet at nighttime in the back alley behind the tree. Well, then you don't know what's going to happen then. But if you go where there's cameras, security guards, people, daytime, then you most likely, if they show up, it'll be a real deal and you'll be safe.
Okay, somebody have a question here. Our time is almost up, but let's entertain this question here to see if we can provide some value. Sarah, it's on you. This one is on you. Can you add questions to answer to join the group like
I like that.
Provinces or
I think
something
that's
a little
pretty
more
good.
specific?
I like that. I think that's a good challenge.
Yeah, that's good. It's just like the math challenge, but if somebody doesn't even know the couple of provinces in Costa Rica.
Yeah, they could take a second to Google it. If they're willing to do that, then they actually want to be in the group.
Oh, yeah, that's very cool.
There was 2 points that I really did want to add because I know that we are getting low on time. So other things to be really careful in groups is number one, like misinformation. I see so much misinformation on these groups. It is insane. Like so much information. Oh yeah, no, you can do it this way. Oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. It's incredible. So much misinformation. And I do, these calls with people, like the exploratory calls that people can book with me. Well, I heard that this is going on. And I'm like, no, that's not, no, here's the right information. The misinformation is all over these groups. So you need to be careful. And because of that, you need to understand when not to ask a question in the Facebook group. If it's a legal matter, you need to be talking to an attorney. Like there's certain questions and matters that these groups are not for. Because if you can't believe every answer that's on there, and I don't think people are purposefully spreading misinformation. They don't have the correct information. I think they do, and they're trying to be helpful. What do you think, Pablo?
I have something to say about that. And this is, I think it's especially for Costa Rica or for Latin America. I'm talking about shipping customs on my industry. Somebody could just ship something, whatever package in Costa Rica, and it just went through. Nobody say anything. Customs didn't check on it, and it worked for one person. Somebody else could send the very same package, and it ended up being maybe vitamins or supplements. The rule for that is an entire process, and that other person got caught, and that vitamin would never leave customs without the proper, permits. So you see on these groups saying, hey, what about this? What about that? I have my supplements. And you have like 3 people saying, yes, ship it. Yeah. Supplements are fine. I did it 3 days ago. But this is all, I'll say this is all personal, your personal experience. It just went through, customs didn't check on it. So I noticed that this happened in many different fields. Okay, I just exit Costa Rica, entry back, and it's supposed to be 90 days, but I did it. I stayed in Costa Rica for 6 months and nobody say anything. That was one person, and this a good friend of mine, Michael Allen, did a video about it. I think yesterday, a couple of days ago. You go in and out, breaking the law, the immigration for tourists, for the tourism part law, And but said somebody else, their neighbor did the same thing and made no. The neighbor did the same thing, and another person did the same thing, and now here they're banned for coming back to Costa Rica. They just your passport is banned. You're not coming back.
Right.
So you go into these groups. Remember, all of it is personal opinion and personal experience. There is nothing like talking to an expert. So what I'm trying to say is, we manage at the very minimum 10 containers a month. In a year, that's 120 shipments a month. I mean, a year. We have the experience when something happens and changes within customs. Okay, this customer had this issue, something changed for customs. We have the day-to-day operational experience. It's not the same of somebody just going, okay, I have one shipment, I did it, and nothing happened. Go ahead, do it. So it's like that with legal. It's like that with many different things that you need to learn. So opinions, groups are for opinions and personal experience, but always connect with your expert. Look for Google reviews or good referrals, and come to a professional like Sarah that can lead you and provide this context to you, and not just leave it with the opinions of the group. I know it's easy just to ask and just hope for the answers to be correct. It's just the easiest thing. But if you're serious about doing this move to Costa Rica, you better do it right. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a lot more. It's going to be a lot more headaches. You want to save on those headaches. Okay, now we have a bunch of questions, though. Now we have more questions.
I agree. I always tell people, like, pretty much I'll end up saving you more than what you just paid me to help you. I promise. Like, for all the mistakes that can be made. And yeah, you have to be super careful.
Sarah, I want Clayton to tell us a little bit of what he does. He's got the group in Atenas. What else are you project that you're doing? You have a blog as well, traveler blog?
So as far as admin, it's only families in Atenas, Costa Rica. And then it's with my travel website, Bonnie Clyde Worldwide. And this is a site where we give information primarily about Costa Rica, but also other countries in the world. Basically about where to eat, where to sleep, and what to do. And and these articles are written only by in-person experience by either me or guest post to make sure that the prices and information is accurate. And so people like you, Pablo, Sarah, and myself, we make sure we have these groups and share these quality information. And yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job. We're very lucky to have experts like you in the field.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I just want him the opportunity to explain a little bit of what he does. So if you guys want more information about for traveling, you can go to his website and search for BonnieClydeWorldwide.com.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yep. Yes, BonnieClydeWorldwide.com. My wife and I are from Texas, so we're the Bonnie Clyde couple.
That's awesome.
Excellent. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. We have like a lot more comments now, a lot more questions, and our time is up. So we're going to have to leave you. But for the next live, we're going to be here every Thursday at noon with more interesting topics. Thank you so much, Clayton. Thank you, Sarah, for having us here.
Of course. This is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, Clayton. I definitely hope to have you back for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's nice meeting you, Sarah. Nice to see you again, Pablo.
Amazing.
Thanks, Pablo.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah.